Hi Curious and welcome back. One of the people you should definitely keep an eye on and find out more about is definitely the mother of one of the most powerful and richest men in the world. Here we are obviously talking about Maye Musk, the mother of none other than Elon Musk. Does she have an infallible formula to educate potential future millionaires? So who exactly is this woman and what is the story behind her son's success? What was her life like and what tragedy from her violent past made her who she is today? What can we expect from Elon Musk's mother, important role in her son's rise to power, and what is she hiding? Stay with us until the very end, because we have a lot of information for you, but before we continue, don't forget to turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. So my curious, get comfortable because we are here to bring you the most interesting facts about the most powerful man in the world. But for now, let's imagine that you ask a little boy who he wants to be when he grows up. Most of the time, the answers are something along the lines of a vet, a doctor, or an astronaut, and it seems that Elon Musk was the latter. It seems that when it came to raising and educating the future founder of SpaceX, Maye had used a simple formula which was always to support him and never extinguish his dreams. Although it may seem that this is something all parents with little children say to let them unfold their imagination, for this mother, she firmly believed it and even made references to it in her memoir, A Woman Makes a Plan, Advice for a Lifetime of Adventure, Beauty and Success, which was published in December 2019. The 72-year-old former model has made references to the above among many other topics. A good part of her book talks about her eldest son, who at this moment is ranked as the second richest man in the world. And since we're on the topic of some of the richest men in the world, we leave you with a link about certainly one of the most powerful ones. And although he does not appear on the list at number 1, some things about Vladimir Putin might surprise you. So you can check it out by clicking on the card shown above. But for now, stick around to learn more about how Maye Musk opened the field to her firstborn to be a millionaire and a pioneer in one of the most advanced technologies in the world. What for some might sound impossible, for others it becomes a goal and they have a strong style of discipline in order to achieve it. As his mother had commented in an interview, she saw that her son was destined for great things since the age of 3, and she could tell he would prove to be a gifted child. In her memoir, she talks about how she realized that at such a young age, her son was different from others. And here we quote, "Well, at 3, I knew he was a genius, but you still don't know if he's going to do great things." However, she also highlighted that not everyone has the same opportunities in life by adding, "Many geniuses end up in a basement being a genius but not applying it." So I was so excited when he started Zip2 because it just made life easier with door-to-door directions, and the newspapers could have a link to that took you to a restaurant. I know that's common now, but that was very useful and people didn't think that was possible. And so I invested in that early on. So not only did she encourage her son to use his imagination, but she had also pushed him to make his ideas a reality. In addition to all of the above, Elon Musk also saw the need to create a little help to the banking system with the application that were really useful. And so PayPal was founded. And then he had thought about doing research in the area of solar energy, electric cars, and space energy. Well, you know the saying, the sky's the limit? It seems that Elon's mother taught him that not even the sky is the limit to make our dreams and desires come true. An example being the above. When Elon, at the age of 12, was the creator of a computer game, all by himself, being the supportive mother that she was, Maye showed it to university students, who were all stunned with all the work done on the project. They had encouraged him to send it to a magazine, for which he received $500,000. Maye has applied her formula not only to Elon. She is the mother of 3 children in total, 48-year-old Kimball and her daughter, 46-year-old Tosca, which she had with her ex-husband Elon Musk. So now, more or less you know that she has applied this to her children, but we are sure that some of you might be wondering if the actions she applied to her kids she carried out in her own life. Make sure you stay with us until the very end to find out. Long before Elon was in the media eye, his own mother had been working on herself to fulfill her own dreams. So who is the woman behind the success of her children? One who was not afraid to support them no matter what. What moment in her life was crucial and one which made her so determined? She was born in 1948 to a family of 5 children. She has a twin sister named Kay. The family moved to South Africa in 1950 and she made most of her life there. Maye married her high school sweetheart Elon Musk at the age of 22, and although everything seemed to be normal, it is not necessarily always like that, curious. The relationship was full of tragedies and abuse. She was a survivor of physical and mental abuse. Maye was ashamed of the situation she was in with regards to being divorced, because in those times, domestic violence was not a reason to ask for a divorce. Although this was not a reason to continue enduring the situation, and in her own words, she said, When you make a big change, it will be scary, but you can't just stay in a bad situation. Then finally, at the age of 31, her marriage was over and she had one major objective, and that was to get all her children ahead in life as a single mother. And from this tragic episode in her life, it is when everything gets more and more interesting. What did she escape from and why did she change her life? If you are interested in how all the life traumas affected her son Elon, you can do so by clicking on the link above. It is no secret that the relationship between Elon Musk's father and his son is marked by a rift, in addition to the fact that he was involved in a recent scandal. At the age of 72, Elon Musk fathered a son after an intimate encounter with Jana, who is his stepdaughter and at the time was 30 years old. The news came out in 2018, and as reported by the Daily Mail, Errol had spoken about it and called their intimate act a heat-of-the-moment kind of thing. It happened when one night her boyfriend threw her out of the house and she stayed to sleep at her stepfather's house, though it was not something that he himself had confirmed. Some had found this hard to believe, but what do you think about it, curious? Continuing with the subject at hand, Maye's motivation, as we mentioned earlier, were her children. She was an educated and beautiful woman who knew what her worth was. She has 2 master's degrees, one in nutritional sciences and another in dietetics. To support her children, she was working as a dietitian since she had higher education in the field, helping patients with different health conditions such as pre-diabetes or high cholesterol. As we said, this unstoppable woman also materialized her desires. Not to mention that she was also a model, something she started doing at the age of 15, and at 18 she took over the catwalks. Semi-curious, she was famous long before Elon, the most popular of her children, had made his career. After she turned 60, she credited her success to the fact that she stopped dyeing her hair, as even with her white hair, she made it to the cover of New York magazine in 2011. She even managed to land a cameo in Beyoncé's music video for the song Haunted, in addition to being a finalist for Miss South Africa in 1969. If that wasn't enough for you curious, she is also a social media lover and is simply repulsed by the fact that older people don't understand it. In numerous interviews, she has made it clear that she has no regrets at all of having worked full-time, because thanks to this, she was able to meet the basic needs of her children, teaching them to be responsible for themselves from an early age. Besides, her children were involved in their mother's business and each one had specific tasks. Tosca was dedicated to writing, Elon was in charge of explaining topics related to her processor, and although younger Kimball also contributed with his help in the business, in addition to encouraging them to materialize their ideas, she also instilled in them discipline and organization. According to that, she added that she was never the one to force them to do homework or to get out of school, but she has made it clear that she always lets them be and that the decisions they made, they would be the ones responsible and affected by them. Each of her own children chose their own schools and their own professions. It is worth mentioning that they always had the example of a hardworking mother to follow, so the fact that they had to sacrifice to be someone in life was not a problem for them, as it was even revealed that the boys lived in apartments where their mattresses were on the floor and they were shared with many of his students. But when you want to get ahead, this is just one of the steps to success. Why did Maye Musk decide to take a surprising turn in her life at the age of 40? Stay with us to find out. In a different interview, she said that many people approached her to ask her how she raised such successful children, to which she replied to let them follow their interests and the facts speak for themselves. As Elon is manufacturing electric cars to save the environment, Kimball, the middle son, has opened sustainable farm-to-table restaurants, in addition to teaching children to produce their own fruits and vegetable gardens in schools in underdeveloped areas. The youngest, Tosca, is a director of her own company that is dedicated to the production of romantic movies, several of which had great success. She confessed that these interests in each of her children were demonstrated at an early age. When she was 40, she had started a new life in Canada, and thanks to the fact that she is a Canadian, her children were able to get their passports. However, the South African government did not let her take the money obtained from the sale of her house and car. But this was not the reason for her to stop. As soon as she arrived in Canada, she got 5 jobs, one as a teacher at the University of Toronto. Besides teaching at nutritious schools at night, she was also working as a model. Maye had no plans to stop at all. In an interview with the New York Times, she said, "I will never retire. My mom never retired. I'll work until no one wants me anymore, and then I'll find something else, and I will still be a dietitian doing nutrition research, which I love." So curious, how many of you now plan on supporting your little ones in their passions so that they achieve who they want to be? Did you know anything about Maye Musk before? Did you know she was a survivor of domestic violence? What are the most fantastic ideas you've ever heard from a young child? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.